Hey there folks, I'm Mark from Spectrum Pulse, and today we have from Hozier Unreal Unearth. Look, I've been a big Hozier fan for a while. I still hold his self-titled debut swampy blend of romantic folk and soul with some sleazy, swaggering blues rock. It's one of the best albums of the 2010s. But Wasteland Baby in 2019 felt like a series of missteps across the board in production and songwriting. I'm now comfortable calling it a sophomore slump. A push for a more optimistic and accessible sound that only worked in patches for me. Now, thankfully, Marcus Drobs is nowhere near the production on this new album, but Rob Carron was gone too, and with so many more new producers in the kitchen, even despite the surprising amount of critical acclaim, I was really worried about this album, and not without good reason, because once again I am torn on this. Let me start with the obvious positives. Hozier himself is one of the most potent singers and performers in this scene, with a hugely expressive vocal range, and even if he doesn't go into his lower register as often as I would prefer, there's so much warmth and charm that it's hard not to get pulled in. I even started liking his falsetto eventually. And while the mixing and mastering can still feel kind of uneven from track to track, and I'm not remotely convinced that Hozier is loose enough to pull off some of the dabbling towards more dance-ready funk and soul grooves, you can tell that the label threw a much larger budget to help Hozier bring in more robust orchestration while still being anchored in more traditional Irish folk structures. The strings and percussion, they sound massive. There are those backing choirs. He's actually bringing in more synths and they don't sound half bad. And given that the album runs over an hour as his longest to date, it would not be out of place to call this project cinematic, even if I think it lags a little bit on the back half. And you know what? You need that cinematic focus for the thematic arc that Hozier's trying to explore, which loosely tracks along with Dante's Inferno in a journey through the 9 hells across songs of love, passion, and heartbreak, along with a couple darker, left-leaning jabs at late capitalism on Eat Your Young and colonialism on Butchered Tongue. Honestly, I would have preferred more of them, because on a tonal level, this album continues some of Hozier's progression towards more accessible, brighter melodies and production. And while on the one hand it does kind of fit with the distinctly Italian melodrama of the historical Bible fanfiction that is Dante's Inferno, the level of fine detail in some of his reference points, it's impressive. Hozier's done the reading. But for an album that's plumbing the depths of hell, this is kind of lacking much of the cosmic evil, the graphic or macabre in a lot of the sound, or even the transgressively horny in the writing, when the album art might alienate more people than the lyrics or musicality, where you could have gotten away with a lot more moral ambiguity and the opportunity to make some of the darkest or wildest music of Hozier's career. It feels like he's playing it safe, especially given how grimy and dark Hozier got on his debut. And you know what? I think he could have gotten away with it too. I don't think his largely female or Tumblr fanbase would have complained if this project got more sexually charged or twisted. And that kind of gave me the impression that, like along with Wasteland Baby, the label might be pushing the wrong direction, to play it a little safer both sonically and lyrically. Yes, it is bigger, but I feel like a major opportunity was missed here, especially with this thematic arc. Now, to be fair, it is better than Wasteland Baby. It's more tuneful, the sound is more fleshed out, and I do applaud Hozier's thoughtful ambition and his modest success with this, even if I'm not sure there's an out-of-the-park standout like a couple songs on his first 2 albums. Although I will say that Francesca, First Light, and Damage Gets Done with Brandi Carlisle, they are close, they're great songs, but this has the feel of a project where it is set up to be so glorious it could have been a masterpiece, and there is enough detail to keep me digging, but I'm not finding as much treasure or as many bodies in that yard. I'm gonna say it's very good, just not quite great. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more reviews, please be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any more albums you want to get on my schedule, link to my Patreon is right over there. And as always, I'm Mark, you're watching Spectrum Pulse, and I'll see you next time.